Okay, glad to be back. So we will talk about revenue streams, revenue models, and pricing. Okay, they are all three are slightly different. Pricing is very different. Any idea? Would like to guess what is the difference between revenue stream, revenue model, and pricing?
Revenue stream is in how many ways we get revenue from the customer.
Yeah, your streams of revenue, which means you have different product lines. You may have different sections of your business. Each of the revenue is flowing. It's like a stream, it flows, right? But how does it flow? That depends on the model. Is it a tap or is it a river or is it something else? Okay, so that's a model. Those models are dependent on various factors. We'll spend some time on that to give you an appreciation. And then comes pricing. How much is flowing? Okay, so that is, and I think the largest part of today's session is the pricing. I don't think I can do justice in 1 hour, okay? But I hope to give you some clue as to how you can play with it. I mean, it's a subject of research, it's a subject of a lot of adventure. There's so much to learn in the marketplace. Just like you people are all technology people, you are learning so much in the laboratory. The marketplace is also a laboratory. You can experiment, you can learn, you can make mistakes. Okay, but there are human players there. It's not inanimate materials where you can keep doing the same thing will happen. You will see today, I hope to give you a picture as to how human beings' behavior changes. Same person, next day is very different from the person you met yesterday. Okay? Whereas if it is a chemical, it's the same. You can predict. You can't predict human behavior, but that's something you have to keep in mind. It's exciting. Okay? So we did this, I'm just recapping quickly. What we did yesterday was just this portion, the top 4 relationships and channels in the context of your value proposition and customer segments. I suppose some of it is clear, some of it is not clear maybe, but you will pick it up as you go along. We will focus on this part, which is revenue streams. And as I said before, now what do customers pay for? Revenue is something that you get from your customer. It is not what you get from your investor. It is not money that you put in. That is, you can, in accounting terms, call it revenue. But here we are not talking about that. We are talking about customer money coming to you. So why should the customer pay you? That's the first question you should ask. Having understood who is the customer, segmentation done, value proposition done, relationships established, channel, everything is in place. Now the real, moment of truth. He is going to pay, open his purse, loosen his purse strings and hand over cash to you. Why? Okay, so obviously he is expecting something, he is expecting a solution. He is not expecting a product, he is not expecting a service, he is expecting a solution. His experience of the product is what he wants. Okay, and if that experience is positive, he will pay. If it is negative, you will have a challenge, he will still pay, but so revenue model is how a business makes money. Okay, a revenue model is how a business makes money. Hi, you can sit here also, wherever, if you feel comfortable, pull up a chair here. And if it doesn't make money, you are not in business. Let me use, okay, I think this is better. Okay, so the difference is, what happened? Oh, this, you want to see me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't realize that. Okay, fine, sorry. Yeah, so, okay. So this we've already discussed. A revenue stream is for a line of business. Revenue model is for single customer. For a customer, you'll have a model because the customer may not like keeping on changing the model. But for different product lines, you may have a different model for the same customer. You have 2, 3 products. One you say, I'll put it on one model, another one, another model. That's fine because the products and services may be different. Pricing is the amount charged. Okay, these are obvious, but I'm just putting the context here. Okay, now why do we need a revenue model? So one is you're going to incur costs. You're already incurring costs. You've started a business. Many of you are putting your own money. So you need to quickly hit the road with the revenue coming in. Otherwise, you can't sustain. Okay, that's fundamental. But the choice of the revenue model will determine the future of your business. So this is something you bear in mind. The choice is very critical and it's your choice, but in the context, okay? It also helps you to prioritize where your customers are and how to price your product. It gives you a context. Okay, we will come to this. The model is based on the context, and some of the examples are subscription. Some of it you already know. Subscription is one way of getting revenue. Licensing is another way of getting revenue. What's the difference? Subscription and licensing?
Can build on the product and
Yeah. In the licensing, the customer can build on the product. He adds part of the value. You're just giving him the base tools to build. But subscription, he doesn't build. He just uses your product and pays. He's just a user. Whereas in the case of licensing, he is actually building the product on your platform, could be. Okay, and markup. Markup is the most fundamental. This was what has been practiced. Simply take your cost, put a markup and sell. Simple model, okay? Okay, before we go, let's do a small exercise. Tell me which companies, according to you, is performing better. Shouldn't take you long. Which one? Company B. Okay, anybody saying company A? No. Okay, now? Which company is performing better? Company A. Anybody still saying company B? Okay. No, long run, nobody knows what's going to happen. As of now, this is the data that is given to you. Okay, now I'll give you one more twist in the tail. Now, which company is doing better? Company B? Or anybody still saying company A? Okay, so what is the most important thing for a business? Cash. Okay, closing cash. Cash is what? Cash is oxygen, cash is business. Okay, whatever profit you make, if you don't have cash in your hand, you will die, because without oxygen you will die. Okay, also depends on, the next important thing is how much investment you put in, and for that investment are you getting returns. Because even a funding organization, anybody will say, is this company worth investing? If I put 50 rupees, if I get 10 rupees, it's better than putting 100 and getting 12. Very obvious, right? So three important metrics. Profit, certainly important, it can't be negative. Okay. Return on investment, if profit is okay, then only you look at if it's negative, you don't look at ROI. Okay, so you have to first make positive. Even if you have ROI, are you making cash? Do you have free cash flow? Okay, because cash flow is also a cost. Many companies have financing costs, which may not be captured in business models. So, is this part clear? That the whole idea of revenue is to generate sufficient cash for your business. More cash you have, you're healthy, and you have more options on your hand. People will come to you if you have. Otherwise, you'll go to people because you don't know how to pay wages, you don't know how to pay rent, you don't know how to pay your interest, whatever is because there are certain expenses which happen on a time basis. Irrespective whether you do business or not, they are called fixed costs. You have to keep paying to sustain. And there are certain expenses which are incurred only if you make a product and sell it. Sales incentive, you don't pay unless you sell. Okay. Manufacturing costs, only if you manufacture. You can shut your plant, shut the electricity, shut everything, no costs. No raw material purchase, no cost. Why will you purchase if there is no order? Things like this, okay. So this is a pictorial representation of this. This is your revenue. I'm calling it S for sales. This is revenue. It is flowing. Say right to left, it is flowing. And there is some leakage here. OE stands for operating expenses, which you can't avoid. You have to pay salaries, you have to pay rent, you have to pay maintenance costs, you have to pay there are various commitments. So this leakage will continue to happen. Okay, so if you keep this pathway narrow, some more will flow this way. I stands for inventory. Inventory is in two forms. One is capital assets. You buy a machine or you buy some other asset, a tool or software or a hardware, okay, or a building, plant and machinery. Why are they called inventory? You may say it's an investment, but it's money blocked. You put money and you've got some asset. You may even have a car or a delivery van. These are all inventories and your money is gone there, no? Whatever, it has to come from sales. From sales, some of it will go here, some of it will go here. Some will go for raw material purchase. That is leaving your system. I is within your system. Operating expense goes out. This also goes out. So then what will rise to the top is what is going to sustain you. That is your free cash flow. So if you look at it this way, you will see that I have to make this minimum. This I can't make it minimum because I can't compromise on my raw materials. Okay. I can try to negotiate a better price with the vendor, but I need to keep quality and delivery and other things. So service may get. So this is something which may be harder to negotiate. This one you could look at wastages. Everywhere there are wastages you can cut down. But primarily if you can keep your inventory low, the less inventory you have, more cash will come to the top. Okay. So that is why just in time is a very big thing. That means zero inventory. Your Uber has no cars. They don't own any cars. Apple has no factories. There are many companies. Oyo has no hotel rooms. The largest owner of hotel rooms, owner meaning within quotes, but they don't buy. They don't block money. Whatever model they have, that's where the business model and revenue model come, right? So when you're looking at revenue model, if you keep this in mind and you design, because if you're looking at subscription model, who will fund it? Suppose you incurred a lot of money in developing a product, putting it in the market. It cost you, let's say, 1 crore rupees. Okay. Your customer, if you sell it to customer for 1 crore, or you can't sell it for the same price, you sell it for say 2 crores. Okay, you have to keep some margin. He makes a payback in 3 years or 5 years on that money. But you get your money up front. Your cash is available. But if you go on a subscription model, you will drain money because your recovery will be slower. But there are benefits, we'll come to that. But just keeping this picture in mind, you need to decide whether today's money is important or tomorrow's money is important. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a very involved subject. I'm just opening your mind to variables that are in play. And all of you are scientists, engineers, all kinds of mathematics. You can perform on these variables and decide what is good for your business in the current competitive environment. So you make an informed choice, not some random choice or follow somebody else. Okay. So types of revenue models, we discussed this, subscription, licensing we discussed, markup, these three we discussed already. Okay. I suppose these are clear. You have advertising. Example of advertising? Google Ads. There's a company which is losing heavily today on advertising. Which one is that?
Facebook.
Huh? No. Okay, I'm using Twitter as an example because they suddenly lost their advertising revenue because of some reasons, the ownership change, something is happening in the company. So that's a model. But why will company advertise with you is a question you have to ask. Depends on the nature of your product. One main thing is you need footfalls or eyeballs or whatever you are able to attract. It doesn't mean if you're selling a chemical, you can't get people to advertise. That's something you can figure out. But obviously, if there are a platform, e-platform or some place where people frequent, you can get advertising revenue. Pay per user. These are licensing models with a difference. You say, okay, if you have one user, you pay so much, multiple users. This is a different model. It's not a fixed subscription. It grows with the number of users. Donations is another way of getting money from philanthropists. If you have a social side to your business, which I think all of you must focus on, because as startups, I think somewhere you are looking at sustainability in your business model and carbon reduction or water consumption reduction, or if that angle is not there in your business, if your business is going to consume energy more than the current choices that people have, you will be in trouble. But if you are looking at sustainability and therefore you are unable to price it competitively because you have to use renewable resources which are expensive, there may be various constraints. If you look at sustainability, Then there may be companies or organizations willing to donate and fund your organization partially or subsidize it. Even governments may subsidize. Solar power was subsidized for a long time before it turned the corner, or I don't know if it has still turned the corner. So there could be several places where donations would be an attractive option. But you have to present your case. The donor is not looking for return on investment. He is looking at social impact. Okay, so if you have that angle to it, you should always include it. Even a venture capitalist may be interested in that. There are companies which are impact investors. They will wait for returns to come. They're 7-8 years. They are not interested today because they have money. Indirectly, they are not 100% donor organization saying, I give you a grant and I forget about it. They're willing to give you a grant and wait. Okay, so there's a slight difference. Then you have affiliate marketing. That means you have a customer who sees, or a partner who sees value in what you're offering, and he wants to tag along with you. He or she wants to tag along with you, which can help both. You have complementary products, or you're able to, I don't have ready-made examples, but we can explore, okay? But affiliate marketing is one way by which you can get additional revenue. So when we are saying revenue models, they are not what we say mutually exclusive. You can have more than one. One is for different product lines, but for the same product line, you could have multiple sources. You can have advertising, plus you can charge, okay? Then what is there? Arbitrage. What is arbitrage? You heard of the word? No, arbitrage is simply something is cheap somewhere and costly somewhere else. Okay? Why does America source manufacturing in China or India? There's what they call labor arbitrage. Labor costs are cheaper here. Somewhere else, maybe interest costs are zero. Japan interest cost was negative for some time. Interest cost was zero. Now interest costs are rising in even the developed economies. But till recently, interest costs were nothing, because if you put money in the bank, they will charge you. They say, we don't have the ability to manage this money, don't put it in the bank. So people, then where will they put it? They will have industries and other avenues to put their money. But if you want to borrow from a place where the interest is zero, it may be advantageous to you. So you'll have to find out where such arbitrages exist. It could be even in raw material. Somewhere it is cheaper. I said labor. Labor is not money, it is a service or a factor of production. Somewhere land is cheap. Okay? So logistics costs may be cheaper. So there is always arbitrage that is available for you to make money. Revenue model. People buy and sell. Import exporters are just doing this only, nothing else. Traders, they're just buying cheap and selling costly. People buy treasury bonds. American treasury bonds, we all know that, right? When America needs money, what do? They print currency notes. Inflation will come if you print currency notes, naturally. Okay, but where does the money come from? The government buys treasury notes from the Federal Reserve. Okay, but where does the government get money from? They sell those treasury notes in the world market. So China, Japan, those countries buy that. So government gets money, they give it to the treasury, they get more notes. So it's a kind of arbitrage which is going on. Why do those countries buy treasury notes? So they believe that there's a high interest they will earn. Even if it's 3%, there is security in that interest. Dollar will never fail. If I have money, I don't know where to put it. If I put it anywhere, I may lose. There is risk. Even keeping money at home, there's a risk because it will get devalued because of inflation. So you need to make your money grow. I'm looking now from an investor or a spender point of view, right? So he needs safe havens to put the money. Not everything, but certain portion of it. That's why government bonds are popular, because governments don't fail. But the return is lower. Because of the security and the safety, the return is lower. But still some money will go. And the safest is treasury bond, because they say US economy will never go down. Okay, but we don't know when that bubble will burst, but right now that's the way it is. Arbitrage, commission is something all of you are familiar with. Okay, you could also make money depending on the nature of your business. Somebody else becomes a main supplier, you become a partner with them, and they can give you commission for your sale. Data sales is also important. Many of you, if you're dealing with data per se, it is ethical, unethical, I'm not getting into that now. But there are obviously zones where you can make money out of your data for a noble purpose, because data is money. They say data is the new oil. All kinds of things are being told about data. So data has to be, it's not something you should let it lie around. At the same time, you should realize where it can make an impact. And as long as there are safeguards and within the law, you can monetize data. I mean, your digital twin is basically data, and that's what you're trying to monetize. See, we are in ICCW, I'm running the Center for Clean Water, for example. Water, there is no money. Who pays for water today? Okay, indirectly there's a lot of cost, but everybody wants it free. But water plus data, there is a lot of money. Like idli, dosa plus data. Is there money or no? That's how Swiggy and Zomato are making money. There's nothing else. They don't do anything. It's just data. What they're telling you is where some food is available, how long it will take to come to you, how much it's basically data management. Uber is only data management. They don't have automobiles, they don't have drivers, they have nothing. So how do you market data? You may be sitting on data. I'm telling you, there are companies which are developing water test kits. Today, if you want to test water sample, you send it to a lab. It will take you 2 to 3 days. You don't know how good that lab is. If you want to drink water, you can't wait for 3 days to know whether to drink it or not. So you need a test kit. Today, test kits are coming where you put a drop, it will tell you on a digital thing. Through Bluetooth, it will link to a mobile phone. It will capture the latitude, longitude of the location. Data gets onto the cloud. So if you distribute these kits to people start monitoring water quality, they get their benefit. But you are getting data which is getting populated on a cloud, which you can perform analytics, you can predict. And that data is very valuable for water purifier companies to fine-tune their product offering. Where is fluoride? Where is arsenic? Where something else is? Today they are giving a blanket RO treatment for all applications, which is not allowed. The NGT has banned RO, reverse osmosis, saying you are unnecessarily polluting groundwater because you are using a sledgehammer for everything. To kill a fly, you don't need a sledgehammer, but you don't know where there is a fly, where there is something big. So you have a standard tool of an RO. So data will help you to make it more specific. Medical, huge amount of data which is there today. And there's a lot of money because health is something that people are willing to pay for across the globe, right? So data sales. So you may not be aware of it, but in your business, you may be collecting data. You may be selling a chemical, but you may be collecting data today about companies, about their processes, about whatever it is. You may have a non-disclosure agreement with them, but respect that. At the same time, you don't have to disclose. So we are also saying generically you can pull out information. Geographically, you don't have to say this company, Northern India, this is happening. At that level, aggregate data may be far more useful than individual data points. Okay, but there's money in that. Okay, your product may be physical, but there could be opportunities for you to make money out of it. Okay. So I've just tried to put all C's here. So what are the considerations for a revenue model? Your own costs. You can't ignore your total cost. You should know how to do your costing. This is not a session for that, but I can explain if you have some doubts, but basically there are two types of costs, direct and indirect, as I just discussed. Direct costs will be incurred indirect costs will be irrespective. Direct costs are incurred only if you want to make a product and sell. They are called truly variable. Okay. So cost, Customers. Why customers are important? Because each customer has a peculiar need. He may have a peculiar financial situation. He may have a peculiar market where he is operating. So all those information will help you decide what is the best revenue model. If their cash flow is rich, you may want the customers, ITC, where I worked, it was zero debt company for the last 20 years. Zero debt. Because cigarette sales are cash. A distributor will pay cash and take it. He'll give it to a dealer. So there is no credit at all in the line. It's huge money. So money is simply flowing into the company. So they don't borrow from banks at all. It's zero debt. Okay. So they would like to pay their suppliers faster. Because if you don't pay your suppliers faster, you will charge interest. Somewhere you will lose money. You will have to mark up your prices. So everybody likes to give discounts to a company which is paying on time. Okay. So that's a model then. So depending on the customer, you should pitch. You can't just go and say subscription model for a company which is willing to give you cash and they will save money, because subscription model, they will lose out. because the cash is sitting in the bank, but they could have got a better service from you. Okay. So customers situation, competition. What is competition doing? You may think you are a startup, you don't have competition, but there are current products today which you are trying to disrupt. Okay. So that competition, if they are in a different revenue model, for you to go and change that will be a Herculean task. Okay. Circumstances, this is ecosystem. Ecosystem, by ecosystem, I'm saying, what is the, as I told you, you are paying money for services, suppliers, transportation, logistics. If the ecosystem is positive and there is a lot of money flowing in, your revenue model is different. If the cash is hard to come in the ecosystem, you also need to change your strategy. Everything other than customer and you is ecosystem. It's a supply chain, it is the banking, financial institutions. Okay, the climate also can be a aspect if your product is vulnerable to climate. So just to summarize, if you have a revenue model which is simple transaction, so you look at this, one-time sale of goods or services, simple transaction, you're just selling and that's it. You can have a project based, which means you're not selling a good, but you're undertaking a project which has many aspects to it. You can convert a product sale into a project sale by saying, I will give you a solution. As we said before, customers are looking for a solution, not a product. I talked about Vayujal as a company. Okay, they were selling atmospheric water capturing machines. So you buy a machine, you plug it, you get water, but it may give you water, it may not give you that many things. If you say, I'm giving you water as a service, so then you have to execute a project there. So that's a different model. Recurring revenue, we know, subscription, licensing, service revenue, freemium. Is freemium a revenue model or not? You know what is freemium? It's a revenue model. Anybody differs? Everybody agrees it's a revenue model. Huh?
I think I differ.
You differ. Okay, good. Tell me why you differ. Huh?
It brings the money with the paid users. So it's a revenue model, right?
In my case, I use Spotify, but then they put the ads. They say that you have to switch to a premium if you want. But though I find it annoying, I still continue with the free service.
Right. So freemium is, yeah, you were saying.
We get data, so like that is one way. Like
Data, yeah, but data you have to monetize. Still, otherwise it is still data. Yeah, you may say you get data, but is it a revenue model? Does it help you to pay salaries? You can't pay data, no, to people. Huh?
Until a user pays, we don't get any revenue.
Yeah, so it is by itself is not a revenue model. It is a customer acquisition tactic. So the cost of a freemium is actually, we discussed customer acquisition yesterday. It's a customer acquisition cost. How long it is free is, there is no revenue. The moment you say free, there is no revenue. So you're trying to get customers through that channel. So all that effort that is going in is customer acquisition. Once it converts, then it's subscription or something else. It's no longer, so you may call it freemium and all that. As he was saying, I am still on free only in many of these. I don't know how many of you have started going to the paid channels. Even LinkedIn sells me premium, you pay. I did once and I came out. I don't know. Right? So individual choices are there, but it may work. But it's a customer acquisition tactics, not really a revenue stream. Okay, don't go after it as a revenue stream. That's a caution.
But like Google Gmail is a premium model.
No, their advertising is the model. If Google, they want you to go into Google. Once you register into Google, then you are going into that space. You're a Google, so you are a person who is now exposed to advertising. If you're looking at Gmail per se is part of a Google. So they may give that free. But are you going to just do Gmail and for searching and all, you'll go somewhere else? Unlikely. You will stay with Google because wherever you go, even if you want to log in, they say log in using a Google ID. So what happens? Google is getting linked to various other things. And there will be some revenue stream flowing from each of those.
Even in Gmail, there is a limit in which you can have the mails.
Mail merge you can't do. If you want to do mail merge, you need to pay. So yeah, there is a limit. Within a limit, even free samples are given for physical. You may sell free samples to your customers. That is what Google Mail is. It's a free sample. Get a taste of it.
We need to pay for several add-ons.
You may not be paying for the ad.
No add-ons.
Add-ons, yeah. You'll have to pay for add-ons. So, how long will a person be satisfied with the vanilla offering? That's the question. Will you only keep eating vanilla ice cream, or sometime you want to add something to it? The moment you add, then they latch on to you. And that is where the information plays a very powerful role. I mean, I've seen this. I'm sure all of you just search something on Google, within minutes you'll get a call. I just wanted to know the cost of sulfuric acid, for example. Okay. Where do you go? Just Google, India Mart thing opened. I found the price and I was happy. Within 10 minutes, I got a call from somebody saying, are you interested in buying sulfuric acid? So this is how it works, okay? But somebody is paying somebody to make that call. Advertisement, we just talked about selling ad space. And marketplace, a platform. You're trying to make a platform is also a revenue model. Okay? There are positives and negatives that is listed here. So you can take a look at it. So supply chain impact. I don't know if you want to play, a 5-minute, are you ready mentally to play a task? Do an exercise? It is on supply chain or it's somewhat manufacturing, but it will give you an idea about, cash flow, which I said is important. All of you agreed cash flow is important for running a business. I don't know, how many of you have seen this before? Nobody? Okay, let me explain to you. It's a production system, okay, but everything is production. Even if you're producing a software, you're going to produce it, okay. So let's look at it in that context. The problem is to make profit. There is one product P which you can sell for $90, another product Q which you can sell for $100. The price is very clear. This you can produce 100 units of this in a week. This you can produce only 50 units in a week. This is sales. This is a demand. If you produce extra, you can't sell. If you produce less, you have lost the sale. There's a demand for 100 units of this. So 90 into 100 is 9,000 revenue possible. 50 into 1,000, 100, 5,000 possible. So maximum you can earn is 14,000 rupees, $14,000. Agreed? Your costs, $6,000. We saw that operating expense going down, that tube, that is $6,000. So 14,000 minus 6,000, $8,000 is sitting there, potentially, okay. You need to purchase something, $5. That only for this, to make this one you have to purchase. This one you don't need that purchase part, okay. There are some outputs. Now, typically I won't take, because I think it will take you a little time to figure out. You look at it, this is an ideal situation I'm giving. There is no uncertainty, very ideal. If you make 100, you can sell, there is no doubt. Everything is guaranteed. This makes 15 minutes to make one part, this takes 5 minutes, blah, blah. There's a raw material which goes in, okay. Prima facie, which one is attractive to you? Which one is that? You look at the cost. Let's look at the cost, okay. 20 plus 20, 40. 40 plus 5, 45. So it costs, raw material cost is 45 for this. Selling price is 100. 90. So 45 rupees you make. Every unit you sell, 45 rupees you make, right? Here the cost is $20. You sell for 100. So how much you make? $80? Raw material wise you make 80. No, you have 20 here. 20 plus 20, 40. This 20 goes here, this 20. So 40, 100. So $60 for every unit of this and $45 for every unit of this. Oh, not 45, 55, 45, 90 minus 45, $45. Is that much clear? $45 unit per unit margin. This one is $60 per unit. Which one you should make more? First, assuming you can't make 100 of this and 50 of this because your capacity is limited, you will need to maximize something and then make remainder of this, or you maximize this and make a remainder of this. That's it. You can't make both. Whichever is contributing more, I should make more of that. Whatever available capacity I have, I'll make something of the remainder. If I make more of lower contributing thing, I have a problem. Okay, so typically, traditional approach is this. I've just explained this to you. 45, 50, 45, okay? 45, 90, 45. 40, 100, 60. First answer is, I should make more of Q. Because every unit of Q gives me $60, so I should make more of this. Every unit of P gives me only $45, I should make less of that. So if you actually produce, you make a loss. Okay, let me show you that loss also. Because of the constraints, you end up, overhead cost recovery is only 3,000, you made a loss. Okay, you earn 5,700 because that is what you did, 60 into whatever cost is there, 50 into whatever cost you have made, and you have lost $300. Okay. On the other hand, if you take B as, so the problem is, you see this, coming back to this one, this fellow, resource B, he is the bottleneck. He is the bottleneck here, okay? He has to make this, then he has to make this, then he has to make this, so he is doing both. C is only here. This is also bottleneck, but the time consumed is less. This fellow becomes bottleneck. So every minute of this, you're losing, he has to, 2 times he has to operate to make 1 unit of this. Okay, so effectively you're losing. More you use this resource, more opportunity of this you're losing. Okay, so let me go back to the next one. I just wanted you to get a feel of when you're talking about cash flow, look at it differently. If you make 100% of Q, balance you use for 100% of P and balance you use for Q, you actually make profit. Okay, we can work this out later separately. I just wanted to give you this flavor to say that whatever revenue you make on one side, you have not touched the revenue, selling price remaining same. How you use your resources in your operations, in your organization, can decide between profit and loss. Nothing has changed. It's an ideal factory. Imagine a non-ideal. Okay, so this is something which, just keep it in your mind, because it's not just the revenue model that's important, it's finally how the revenue model helps you to make money. Okay. Now, is there anything on revenue model that is still not clear? Or is everything unclear?
Still, we are not presently product with the market, so like how to come up with price, like subscription model is there.
So what, okay, let's look at all the options that we listed here. Let's spend some time on that before we go into pricing. Let's stay with this. Which are the ones that would suit your business? What do you think?
Do you think 1 and 2?
1 and 2. 1 and 2.
And 10 is something.
And
10 is something auxiliary.
you will sell through the web.
1 and 2 are the primary revenue channels. 10 is something like if the people who are using it, if they accept, then they could try exploring
Okay.
option 10 as.
Okay.
We could have multiple.
You could have. For the same product, same customer? Give me an example. Your product is, let's say, services on stress relief or something.
Yeah. So I could take an analogy from one of our
inspiring variables in the market like Roki, and they have models of direct sales, directly selling the smartwatches to people, and they tie up with some organizations and all that and sell them. And data, of course, they sell it to the insurance companies.
Right.
And they have a marketplace where people can buy something like protein powders and all that. And they could also tie up with doctors, clinics, and oral health platform is what they have.
You can do that. You can do that. See, who are all impacted by your product? Okay? If you're talking about health and you're selling some wearable gadget, somebody will buy that. Okay? Now this data is getting collected. It is going somewhere. Now that data itself becomes another product or a service. Who all will benefit from this? The person himself will benefit from better health. Okay? Insurance company you're saying can benefit because they can decide on the premiums and underwriting and their losses. Who else will benefit? If there is a social impact, some donor may be interested in giving you. Somebody may advertise on your platform. Some health company may advertise on your platform. So multiple revenue models, therefore you may choose one or two primary revenue models for your main business because you can't distribute your, we said earlier, if you have social impact, somebody will donate. So that's additional revenue. Okay, so you can literally look at advertising as additional revenue. You can look at donations as additional revenue. Affiliate marketing, we said, can come if somebody finds your customers attractive for them. Okay, they may say, why don't you promote my product along with your product? I'll pay you something. That's another revenue model, affiliate marketing. Data sales, we already discussed. Okay. Pay per user you can bring in again because you don't have, you can say minimum I'll give you 10 users. After that, every additional user you pay. Various models are there, and this itself, see, in all these cases, the disadvantage will be your entry. That is why I will come to pricing. Once you enter at a certain level, to change that will become difficult. So you choose the model, but don't choose the pricing. How much you're going to charge? Sometimes it's a very good idea to say my product is worth 10,000 rupees, but for launch purposes, I'm offering it at 5,000 rupees. Your actual cost may be 2,000, doesn't matter. But you're mentally saying it's worth 10,000 rupees. And anybody who buys it feels happy that he's got a 10,000 rupee worth product at 5,000. He only paid 5,000. Tomorrow, if you want to increase the price, reduce your discount, you can still do it. Legitimately, you can do it. But if you launch it at 5,000 and then you want to increase it, the question will be, what have you added to it? Why are you increasing? What am I getting extra? Okay, so these are all, that is why I said there's a human being sitting out there who's making decisions. And how do you play with that human being will decide your business. Okay, business ethics is different from day-to-day ethics. So business ethics is what you have to keep in mind because you're being fair. You're not saying I'm victimizing somebody. Your offer is same to all human beings. Somebody who benefits from this, from his point of view, will buy. Somebody who thinks it's not worth it will not buy. Okay, so revenue model, as I'm saying, it could be multiple, as you rightly pointed out. And you have to be careful when you choose. That's why we said you look at all these considerations. These are today's considerations. You look at it few years into the future. We discussed that, right? How things are going to change. How is Web 3.0 going to change your business model? Will you be ready for that? Industry 4.0, will it change your business model? You may think today I am high tech in data, but every Tom, Dick and Harry will be on data tomorrow. You'll have to visualize a little bit and see. But it's a learning experience. There is no solution, there is no formula to say X plus Y equal to this. But as long as you are able to, put all variables into play, and that is where your innovation will come. But keep in mind that revenue model is something which is not hard and fast. Markup was traditionally the only one. People had markup, cost plus pricing. Things have changed. Okay, all of you are aware of that. We can come back to this during the session. So I'm just moving straight to pricing now. Okay. So pricing, there is a customer acquisition challenge and there is a pricing challenge. All of you would have faced it. If you offer a higher price, your customer may not buy, but you need that customer. At the same time, you can't sell cheap, right? But most companies focus more on acquiring new customers than on the right pricing. I think this is some kind of a statistic which we can accept. From our own nature, we say, I'm willing to drop the price to get my first order. I also don't know what my true price value is. I'm not challenging this. I'm saying this is a fact, okay? But small variations in pricing can make a big difference, okay? Because your margins may be small. Slight pricing can add a huge amount to your bottom line, to your cash flow, to everything. Most of your problems will get solved if you get a better price. You may not even need that many customers. Rolex watches has very few customers. There are many companies which are niche players. They make huge amount of money. And they are able to satisfy the customers at that price point because all their focus is on that. Product is incidental. They are giving an experience, they are giving certain prestige value. Okay. So, but even in your case, you don't have to feel that I'm not a Rolex watch, so how can I charge? But can you pause and think, what are the things you can do to maximize your price offering? And we'll come to how to sell it to the customer. But first of all, you must be convinced that your product is worth much more than what customer may perceive today. Okay, so it's an untapped potential, clearly. It's sitting there. It's up to you to tap it. No customer will come and say, I'll pay you extra. You have to tap it. It is a much more powerful growth lever because the moment your bottom line goes up, you can invest that money into many things. You can advertise, you can add more features to your product, you can go to new markets, you can do wonderful things, R&D, okay? And it has nothing to do with the costs, nothing. Is price anything to do with cost?
Sir, is there any connection?
What is the connection? The only one connection is there. There's only one connection between cost and price. What is that? Your margin. That's all. Only your margin is, there's no, if you forget your margin, there's no connection. Okay.
So value driven and cost driven.
Yeah. So this is the connection. First, before that, how will you convince the customer? How will you convince the customer that the value you offer, okay, what is value is far more than the price you charge. This is the mindset that you're going to create in the customer, that he's paying a pittance. You may think it's a big price. He's saying, I'm paying a small price because the value you're giving is fantastic. So this is something you have to psych yourself, you have to work on it and go. Far more than what the competition is offering also. So you need to know your competition because customer has a choice. You may think your product is great, which may be, but it's always in comparison that decisions will get taken. And you can't underestimate your competition. Okay, but if you are in a position to do this constantly, it's not a one-time game. Constantly, if you are able to say, I am giving more value than competition, than the price I charge, this is a striving. I'm calling this as a mission or something. This is what you should keep in mind when we go through the pricing approach. Anything less than this, it is not something from God given price. Nothing is you have to create it. Okay. So this is what you were saying. Is there a difference between these two equations? No difference. Any difference? Just rearrangement. A plus B equal to C. Huh? Anybody seeing a difference?
Second one is profit.
Huh?
Second one is profit.
Second one is profit. Margin is profit.
So first we'll define the revenue.
See, I've just taken the margin, put it that side. This margin has gone there, so the cost has come here, price minus margin. That's what, these two are same. All of you said this is the same. But is it the same? Huh? Suppose I say it's not the same. Okay. Yes or no?
Price is for the buyer, cost is for
Right. Okay. So,
me to focus.
so is this cost same as this cost? That the question is this cost same as this cost? Is this price same as this price? Is this margin same as this margin? That's what I'm asking you. Same or different?
Cost gonna stay same.
Cost will remain same.
Yeah.
You are in manufacturing. Cost remains same? Okay. In the interest of time, let me tell you they are the opposites. They're not the same at all. They're completely opposite. Why? In the first case, the price is fixed. You take your cost, add the margin that you want, and put the price. My cost is 1000 rupees. I want to make 500 rupees. I will price it at 1500. This is a markup rate. This is the opposite of that. What is the price in the market? What is the price the customer is going to pay? What is the value I'm offering? How much money then I can get? What is the competition price? Price is not decided by you. Price is coming from the market. Margin is decided by you. Both cases. If the price is only, what did we say, 1000 plus 500, I'll sell it at 1500. Let's say the market is only at 1200. I still want to make 500 rupee profit. So then I target, my cost becomes a target cost. Then I say, how can I produce the same thing at 800 rupees? The thought process will change completely if you say, here cost is a given, here cost is to be derived. It is not, a price is given. Okay? So please bear in mind that market decides the price. Always. But if you look at cost plus, you may lose money also. Your price, the price may be below your cost today. It can happen. If you look at a Chinese product, you may find they're selling below your cost price. That's how many companies went bust. How are they doing it? That means you have to question your process. Am I competitive or not? The Chinese fellow can do supply all over across the Indian Ocean and come here and deliver it. Something is wrong with my process, right? So it makes you think. Okay? So we'll see how to address this. So price is set by the market and price is related to value. So if you want to change this, if you say I can't improve my cost, for example, it may happen that you may say, look, that's China, this is India, we have our own constraints, I can't do anything. So what is the value you can add, which the Chinese cannot give you? So your product has to be inherently superior. Product doesn't mean core product, it is an entire augmented product. You may have warranties, you may have guarantees, you may have replacement, you may have some performance. See, I'll give you an example, okay? Again, my personal life, career example. ITC is a big company making, purchasing capital equipment for packaging, making, film, blown film, okay? There's a company from Germany called Windmoller and Hosch or whatever, Windmoller, you can call that. Another Italian company also. The difference in one was charging me 70 lakhs for a machine. The Windmoller was charging 7 crores. 7 crores. 70 lakhs and 7 crores. Two suppliers. So I told this Windmoller guy, look, I've got a quotation like this. I don't know why you're charging 77 crores. You have anything to say? So first thing he said is, many companies are still aspiring to buy my product. Okay, so he never said, I'm costly. He's saying, you are not ready to buy my product. That's what he said. So then I said, why should companies buy? Whoever it is who's buying, even if he's, rich, why should he buy a product that is 10 times costlier? So what he said is, when you're making a blown film, you're using some granules of plastic, okay? And you want to make a very thin film, 15 micron, 10 micron, 7 micron, whatever. And that thin film, typically, if your process is not stable, they'll have variations. And if there are variations in the process, you'll have holes in the film, you'll have gauge variation, you'll have all kinds of quality problems. So to make a 15 blown, they will tell you can make a 15 micron film, but you have to set it at 20 micron or something higher, so that even with all the variations, minimum 15 micron will be there and your film is safe. 70 lakh machine will do that. If you buy my machine, you can set it at 15. A variation is so less, that means you're saving huge amount of plastic. Between 15 and 20, there is 25%. And that is where the money is going. So if you do the calculation, you will find that a company which buys a cheaper machine in the long run will lose money. Because the plastic consumption will be higher, quality problems, all kinds of things. Okay, and that is why he said companies are aspiring to buy, but they are not able to buy because of their limitations, but they are suffering. Okay, so I am giving you this example to say that value offered is something completely different. For this, you need to understand the customer. And you see what value you are giving them, and if that value is worth it, they will buy. Okay, after that, you don't have to ask me which machine I bought. But that's the nature of the selling process. Okay, so this brings me to this subject. It's called value discipline. I touched upon with the other startups. Okay, it's important to know this. It's a little digression, but I think, as I said before, pricing involves so many things that you need to be clear. So what is value discipline? A company can be there are 3 dimensions. Okay, we are saying a company cannot be in all 3 dimensions. I mean, cannot grow in all 3 dimensions, okay? Because what is the first one is, you can chart anywhere. Let's take operational excellence, okay? You may want to be operationally excellent, which means you are the lowest cost producer. Amazon is an operationally excellent company because its logistics cost is the cheapest. They're able to drive the price down. FedEx as a courier company was the cheapest, okay? But yet they guaranteed a level of performance, overnight delivery. McDonald's as a restaurant was the cheapest. You can get the burger at a price where no other restaurant can give you. There are many companies which are on this path. They will be the cheapest. They are very clear, operational excellence. That doesn't mean they are giving you cheap products. If you go to McDonald's, you'll have to probably take the tray, keep it there. Many things you do which as hotel staff supposed to do, they don't do. Okay? You have Southwest Airlines and now you have Indigo here. Their prices, they are the cheapest. They are saying low cost airline. People preferred that to Jet Airways and Kingfisher, and other companies have gone bust. Okay, so operationally excellent. But for that, Indigo calculated that the cost of airline is incurred only when it flies. It makes revenue only when it flies, sorry. Cost is incurred anyway. Because you are Boeing or whatever it is, expensive, maintenance, everything is a fixed cost. So only when you fly, you make money. So they've ensured that they uptime is far more than Air India or Jet. So they had cases where people are disembarking from one side, embarking from the other side. The turnaround time has to be faster. They make you collect all the garbage and put it into a thing, so cleaning time reduces. Okay? Southwest Airlines, the US, has many other things. You can't carry baggage. There was no food served. So food actually delays the flight. It's not the cost of the food. The service of the pantry services coming and the air hostess getting involved in all that, everything is a delay. So they cut down everything and said, look, I'm not competing with an airline, I'm competing with a bus passenger or a train passenger. So that's my market. It's a huge market. Okay, and I'm saving huge amount of time. Traveling from Chennai to Bangalore may take 5 hours or 6 hours by road. If I can, 30 minutes, marginally higher price. Okay, it's another matter. The airport in Bangalore is far away, but there could be various opportunities where you are able to tell the customer, marginally higher price. I'm not competing with the airline. So you're changing the business model. So is this clear? But everything has to be aligned. They bought only Boeing 737. Why? Because spare parts are standard. Single aircraft. Huge discounts from the Boeing company. Huge discounts in spare parts. Training costs of maintenance engineers was standardized. Pilots were standardized. Okay, any plane can be diverted anywhere. And they flew only to, destinations where there was no aircraft flying, smaller airports. So the entire business model has to fit. Okay, so that is one. But they'll never be competing with the product leadership. Give me an example of product leadership. I talked about Rolex watches. iPhone is one. Sony at one time used to be. They will look at the highest price in their segment. Customers who are buying that product are not buying cheap. They will have clubs, customer clubs. They will invite them once a year and throw a party, maybe in a fancy island or something. They will make a customer feel rich. real estate companies which do that. If you're buying a villa somewhere, you are a prime customer. Okay? They will never be in the lower segment. Tata's, for example, Ginger Hotel is Tata's. I think, I don't know if they're still there. They had a big problem with Ginger and Taj. But Taj is a 5-star. The same company trying to do 5-star service on one side and budget hotel on the other side suffered at the top. At the bottom level, it may be okay. Hindustan Unilever, when it launched, Nirma was a competition to Surf, some of you may remember. Okay, Surf was a high-priced product. Nirma was something which was cheap. So Hindustan Levers had to compete. They did not know how to compete. So they created a product called Wheel. I don't know if Wheel is still there. That was competing. But they still could not compete because the organization thinking was different. So they created another company, okay, and told them, you compete with Nirma. So entrepreneurs came out of Unilever and they started a company. This main company funded them, but of course, they have to work like no more flying around. The Nirma salesman is going on a trekker, you go on a trekker, go on a bus. That's how you compete. You can't have corporate culture in that scenario. Okay? Multiple examples are there of General Motors came out with Saturn because they wanted to compete in the cheaper segment. Maruti can never make expensive cars. Toyota has succeeded, but Maruti is always small cars because it's not bad or good. It's just that is their core strength. Okay. So product leadership is another value. You want to be there, you pitch it very high. But having decided to go there, you can't come back. You can't be oscillating. You need to have two companies. Third one is called customer intimacy. Neither leadership nor excellence. It's customer intimacy, which means for you, customer is everything. Okay, your customized solution. You're not having any standard product. And cable and wireless was one like that. There would be companies which are, highly personalized service. You can't compare one customer with another customer. That is where the advantage is. If I give you a particular price, if I'm customer intimate, the price I give him may be very different from the price I give you. Apparently, it may be the same product, but he'll be happy, you'll be happy because your needs are different. Okay, and it's very difficult for the customer to switch from that company because the bond is so strong, and they will do anything. They are complete solution provider. They are not product. Whereas this company will not interact that closely with the customer. Here it's all transaction. The cash register rings, you are no longer a customer. You are out. Okay. But here there is a long-term relationship, but it is at a different level. It is a prestige premium, and there's huge money these are all luxury products, very clearly. These are products where the customer responsiveness is so important. Okay. So why am I bringing this? Because this decides your pricing. The market leaders, you need to be at threshold levels of this. You can't say, I'm zero. I have no cost control. I don't care for my customer. I'm just product leader. Nobody will come. You need to have some customer orientation, some threshold level. That is what is drawn here. You have to, and here also you need to have some quality orientation. You can't say I'm cheap, so quality is not relevant. Okay, so some threshold level is needed. Okay, so this is a value discipline. So if you look at it, best total cost, here's the best product, here's the best solution. Here the golden rule is variety kills efficiency. So that's why Ford had said if you want any car of any color, it will be black. That was a famous statement. Variety kills efficiency. Okay, so how do you make your product so, not just your product, that you remove all variability. That's the only way you can bring down cost. Okay, here it will cannibalize your own. So Apple keeps coming out with newer and newer models and makes the older models obsolete. Because your customer base will not be large, you have the same customer base, but you have to keep on making them buy. So you have to keep on enthusing something. So you kill your own product. That's what is called cannibalization. You kill your own product with your own breakthroughs. So it's a highly innovative company. Here you are not concerned about your product or your company. You are just talking about your customer's problem. That's it. Whatever the problem is, we will solve it. Okay. So accordingly, you will have your processes. Accordingly, you will have your rest of the organization. This I am not getting into, but largely this drives your business. So just keep that in mind and you choose. You want to be the cheapest, you're in the high-end business. You're saying you're 3.5 lakhs per kg or something, right? You are expensive. Obviously, you need to have everything around your product and your operations reflecting that quality. Even your factory. I don't know. You have a factory now? Not yet. When you have a factory, you may want to bring customers there, or they may want to see a world-class setup, and then they will pay you. If you think your product is expensive, you need to have the ambience for it. A dealership is also important when an expensive product is sold. You go to a gold shop, how do they treat you? Okay, so there's a relationship that you need to bring in. Likewise, if you're saying I'm going to be a mass producer, okay, people are just going to download my product. I don't even see them. I just have their email ID and that's it. Then you have to be 100% low cost, because nobody will pay. If you say freemium and this and that, where is your choice of making? So premium companies are necessarily operationally excellent. Okay, so that's why I'm saying your cost is decided by your value proposition, and if you're not able to compete, you need to look at value creation. Okay, now high prices. I want to spend some time on, till what time? 1 o'clock, no? We have half. Okay. So, see, high prices, I'm deliberately dwelling on this because I want you to think high prices, okay? Because that's where as we discussed before, customer acquisition versus pricing. Pricing can make a lot of difference. How do you psych yourself to charging high prices? It carries a great deal of authority. If as a startup I am saying this is my price, people will look at you with respect. They don't expect it. But if you have to be confident, and there's a very strong connection between price and quality. How many of you go to I'm sure you buy clothes or you buy items of personal care. How do you judge quality? Price. Anybody with any other?
Brand.
Huh? Brand. Okay. Okay, aesthetic is all fine. With the aesthetic, will you decide the price, or with the price will make you decide? Aesthetic is different. When you say quality is the whole, the material, the aesthetic. Okay, aesthetic may vary from person to person. What you like, somebody else may not like. Okay.
How you initially feel about the product?
Yeah. Suppose that aesthetically the product that you like, suppose it is the cheapest product in the shop. Aesthetically you like it, it's the cheapest product in the shop. I don't know what your reaction will be.
Then we will doubt about it.
Huh? Will you doubt it? He's doubting it, okay. Okay, the chances are that price decides quality. It's a perception of quality. So high prices are a more convincing argument of quality than any other promotion. You may say my product is X, Y, Z, everything. Finally you offer it cheap, means proof of the pudding is that. How confident are you? So therefore, the value proposition to the customer, the solution you offer, the benefit you offer. So you must only talk about that. When your conversation with the customer, don't talk price. At the end of the conversation, he should feel the price is nothing. So much I'm getting for it. Don't ever open a conversation with price. Even if the customer asks you the price, hold back. Don't. Because the moment you give a price, you've given out everything. After that, whatever you tell about quality is not going to listen to you. It's over. Game is over. Okay? So keep that in mind and say price gives a connotation of quality. Okay? Now you figure out the range. Are you see, it is not between 500 and 500. I'm not talking about that kind of a price differential. We talked about product leadership. Okay? Price has nothing to do with cost. We said all this. Whatever your costs are, which segment you want to play? Am I going to play in the 10 rupee segment, 100 rupee segment? Parker pen. Yesterday somebody said Parker pen I would prefer to a Butterflow. We don't know how much it costs to make a Parker pen. Or there are pens which are even more expensive. You have, right? We don't know. They have decided the price is there. I'm talking about luxury products. You never know the price. But you also don't know the price of a medium product. Okay, and sometimes it's the game that is played with the price. Sometimes you may price something, I'll come to that. There are various tricks you can play, okay? So first thing to know is, what is the order of magnitude? So some of these strategies here, I hope it is legibly talked about. For this, your understanding of the customer, his processes, his losses, opportunity, if you have data on the customer, which you can get through a series of meetings, and if you're saving X amount of rupees for that customer because of your product, that customer saving will be far more than your cost, okay? Therefore, that becomes a point. Second is competitive. Whatever, if you think that you have a strong competition in the field, you can't go and say, I'm the greatest. So then they will think you don't know your own competition or you don't know your own industry well enough. So you must do your homework, and if you think competition is there, then there is a competitive pricing. Price skimming. Price skimming is something, see, when, again I'm using my company example, when we talked about ITC getting into, let's say, dairy products or confectionery. They always launch the premium end. Okay, if you are launching products at the premium end, or if you are at the top, you are setting your image, and the customers think that you are a premium player, and the sooner, even your volumes will be small initially, okay, and if you are able to start charging and getting away with it, over a period of time, competition will come, market will get leveled out, you may be forced to drop prices, but you you've creamed the market already, right? So that's called skimming. So because competition will come, you may make the latest axial compressor, but somebody will copy, reverse engineer, something will happen. Till such time, you don't want to lose money, let's say, or lose opportunity. You price it high. People, because you're the only player, you skim. Okay, that's called price skimming. Highest the market will tolerate, and then lower them over a period of. They'll feel happy that you're actually lowering price later on because the mind is set on a higher price table. Cost plus, we talked about it. This may be a last choice if you don't have anything else to do. Penetration pricing is what? This is opposite of skimming. You're saying, I'm going to lose, I'm going to be a loss leader, I'm going to lose money. Okay, I had a competitor when I was again in industry. They come because their volumes are low, their losses, but a big player, if I have to compete, we will, because our entire product price table will come down, we will lose big time. Okay, but before anybody, Nirma did that. Suddenly they found the penetrative pricing. The volumes are not justifying the price, but over a period of time, the scale of operation goes to that level that they start making money. Yeah. Okay. By offering price much lower than competition. Economy pricing is cheaper. This is also another way, economy pricing. Dynamic pricing, these are things that you must always tell the customer upfront that my pricing is dynamic. I think there are organizations which do dynamic pricing. I mean, commodities are all dynamic anyway. You want to buy gold or atta or whatever, it's all daily prices. Airline prices are dynamic. Uber also has surge pricing and stuff like that. Your Walmart used to have price tags which were rollers. Like you have so they will, during the day, they will roll the price down or up, depending on how sales are moving. If something is moving fast, they will increase the price. If it is not moving, because they have to get rid of stocks. So these are dynamic pricing. Most people don't know what's happening, but this is how things work. And we've all heard about these Black Friday sales, no? All that is talked about, or any sale for that matter. Okay? Even if you enter what do you call, a showroom or a let's say garment store, many times I found that as you enter, the high price items are kept there. People see that, and then the minds are getting conditioned. As they go deeper and deeper, they find something more affordable compared to what they saw earlier, and they start buying. If the other way around, chances are, they will probably not even see the high priced ones. Okay, and they also where they keep it. At the eye level, there will be certain things. What they don't want to sell will be somewhere else. These are all buyer behavior related, but I'm saying that's a consumer space. In the industrial space also, you will find opportunities where people tend to look. for standard features, and that if you give it to them, they will pay any price. What they don't expect, you should give it to them. Okay, the right pricing obviously is based on various factors. Consumer insight is very important. This is a long thing, but I will just highlight a key as this is a study that has been made of how high prices can improve enjoyment and satisfaction. Okay, the more someone pays, the more likely they are to enjoy. More you pay, more you will enjoy. Okay, if you believe this maxim, price is not just about inferences of quality, but actually can affect real quality. Real quality gets affected by price, not just imagination. This experiment was done by what did he do? He took 3 different wines or 2 different wines, not 3, 2 different wines. One was, 2 sets. One was 5 rupees and 10 rupees a bottle. Okay. But deliberately identified with a retail price that was sometimes real and sometimes grossly exaggerated. So what happened was, 5 rupee bottle was projected as a 45 rupee bottle. 10 rupee bottle was projected as $90. And there was a $35 one in between. The same wine. People who tasted it said these 2 high priced wines were tasting definitely superior to the same wine which was in a cheaper bottle, and much better than the 35. 35 is supposed to be better, let's say. You get the picture, right? So this is a lot of research that goes on to say that perception of price decides perception of quality, even in real life. Something like wine, maybe people can't make out. Clothes, you can't make out. Even if you buy, once you buy, you rationalize. Somebody tells you got cheated, you say, no, I didn't get cheated. Because it doesn't make you feel good. So you will try to rationalize what you did, so that's what they are trying to do. Okay, even whatever they did in terms of brain study also showed, even the chemicals that were produced in the brain of the people who drank a cheaper wine, bottled as a superior wine, was different from something. So it is not just data, it's also physical, okay? Just to share that point. So, whole idea was that effective pricing strategy helps you. One is it builds trust. If you charge, you are bold and you're confident and you are able to therefore build trust. If you are cheaper, I think so, I don't know what you think, people may also feel that you may be compromising, right? Okay. Once you get your price, you can do everything. Business goals are dependent on the cash. That's what we saw in the beginning, okay? So I think you've seen before, okay? I'm not dwelling on this, but more importantly, because you're going to negotiate with individuals, you're not going to negotiate with a company, it's going to be individuals. If you are able to see, this is basically empathy. So when you talk to the customer, it's not just listening to what they say, it's also listening to their feelings, it's listening to what is happening around them. Okay, if you're able to pick up the unstated needs, these will help you in your pricing. There may be body language, there may be a phone call which is maybe nothing to do with you. He just said, hold on, I'm taking a phone call. He'll tell you what kind of pressures that person is facing. So all that is relevant in your pricing negotiation. That's all I wanted to say. Don't ignore anything that's happening around your customer, because that is his life. Okay. So like that has been done for a, let's say, smartphone taxi app. What was the problem? What is the customer wanting? He was getting easy payment, fair price, arrive on time, professional. That's what he was getting. What was his pain? Waiting period, unsafe driver. Okay. So if you really empathetically look at a customer, this is a consumer example, you will be able to address many of these and in your value proposition, and therefore, if you're justifying a price, you can actually say some of these things, okay? Anyway, I just wanted to cover that point. So coming back to, it portrays value, it convinces customers to buy. Why does it convince customers to buy? Low price will seem cheap. It gives confidence, okay? What does a weak strategy do? The opposite. Makes customers uncertain, or you may target a wrong customer. So far, any dissonance from what I was saying and what you were carrying in your mind in terms of pricing as a subject? Okay, there's a lot that can be done. I couldn't put everything on a slide. It may get too heavy. But idea is that price and value are closely related. Okay, and value is something which is for the customer, not what we think it is. So we need more and more data to perceive that value. And it has nothing to do with cost. And there are so many strategies we can work around. Okay, so having done this, now you need to get your price across. It's very good to sit in a room like this and say, yeah, pricing, high pricing is excellent, this, that is all theory. Now you're getting into practice. How do you get it? You may ask me, it's all very nice, but you're not facing the customer, I'm facing the customer. How do I make it work in practice, okay? So one thing is, in every sales call, you're going to make sales calls. Who should talk more? Who should talk more? You're saying it very gently. Are you sure? Customer or seller? Who should talk more? You're still half-hearted. You think that's the right thing to say. Anybody think seller has to talk more? How will the customer know about your product? Do you want to talk about your product or not? Yeah, the buyer should talk more, certainly. Buyer should talk more. Why should the buyer talk more? One is he will tell what he wants, but how does that help him to buy?
We are meeting that expectations and we can put our value proposition.
Okay, see, the fundamental reason is, if the buyer says it, it is true. If the buyer says it, it is true. If the seller says it, it's false. Any statement. Any statement. You must make your buyer say it. He may say your product is good. You should not say it. How will you make him say it? Okay? You should make him say it. If you don't make him say, you keep on saying that every salesman does that. Buyer will switch off. The moment you say my product is good, he'll find 10 reasons to say why it is not. Then you'll be on defensive. So never start talking. So how do you make him talk? Ask questions. Only ask questions. If you ask open questions, which are not yes-no kind of answers, open questions, then it's like a floodgate being opened. Can you tell me the nature of your job? That's very general, but you can still say. What's the nature of your job? Not the nature of your business. He has to start somewhere. He'll tell you many things that you don't know what is coming next. You capture. So open neutral questions are what's the nature of your job? Okay. What do you like about your job is a leading question. What do you like? What do you dislike? You're leading him somewhere. What are the problems you're facing today? So those are leading. Okay. But don't ask basic questions. So let's come to this. I've been teaching in most of my sales, classes. I want to touch upon that. It's called SPIN, stands for situation, problem, implication, and need payoff. So first question, we want to know what kind of questions to ask. Initially, situation questions, which are neutral. It's a non-threatening situation question. But don't ask basic questions. What's the name of your company? You can't ask, right? So you do some basic homework, do some web research, understand the customer a little bit, but ask him questions which he likes to answer. It's just building a rapport, relationship, okay, initially. Get to know, you talk about the weather or whatever, but just make it pleasant. Then somewhere you have to lead him into problems. Otherwise the conversation, he'll also be busy. Problem around your product. Suppose you say high temperature, what is that? Chemicals is a problem. So ask him, what kind of temperatures you deal with? Okay, have you faced any challenges while dealing with these temperatures? So on and so forth. Anything. How many employees take sick leave in a month? Okay, what happens if they? So these are problems, but problems by themselves will not get you a sale. You'll have to look at the implication of the problem. What happened when somebody didn't turn up? If people are taking leave and they are working from home, Company is managing to run it's okay. It's not a, it's a problem, but it's not a, there's no implication. Implication is very less. I had stock out of my supplies or somewhere some furnace, something happened. It's okay, I have spare furnaces, I managed. One day this will be down, it's okay. Problems are there, no implication. So implication is where, so this requires some art, this requires some skill, this requires some knowledge about the customer and his process. So what you're doing is not the right way to put it. But if there is a knife, if you stick it into him and you twist it, that is, so he starts feeling the pain. Pain meaning, see, why I'm saying he should feel the pain is, he's living with some pain. There are problems, there are situations, there are things, daily pressure, stress situations. It's become part of his life. Okay? So you're going to talk to him about his workload, he'll say, yeah, nothing new. Every day I'm facing problem, challenges, this, that. But you have to make him feel that this is a problem that is severe, because most people try to forget their problems. Their mind becomes numb, they don't want to talk. So once you start talking, and you tell him last time when something like this happened, what really went wrong. If you make him go through that experience again, he will start, this is the basically emotional thing that happens, right? Why? Only then will he look for change. You want him to change buying something that he's been buying all along to buying your product or service, or looking for something which he has not looked for today. It's all, so you are trying to see how I can make a difference. Okay, so there is an implication, very acutely feeling the problem. He states, he's saying, I wish I had a chemical that can work at high temperature. He should say it. I wish I had software which can take care of whatever brain stuff that you're doing. Okay, or I wish I had a drone I can release from here. You can make him say that. What is your problem? I wish there was a digital twin. See, digital twin may be a little bit outside, but somewhere he may say something similar to that. Then you can tell him, okay, do you think a digital twin is a good idea? What is a digital twin? Because you brought him to a place where now he's ready to talk to you. Otherwise, it's too early. So far, you've not talked about price. You've not talked about your product. You've not mentioned your product at all. You're just staying with him where he is, taking him to a place where he's finding it. Have you seen these magic shows that are being performed? I mean, many. If I take a piece of paper and I write, I can tell you some card. Okay, think of a card. I may write that card. And I can write some number here and I can make him say what this number is. Have you played that game? Okay, for example, I mean, I don't want to play the game now because of interest of time, but make it more dramatic. Okay? For example, if I write 7 of diamonds, I'll ask you, okay, can you name the suits in a deck of cards? What are the suits in a deck of cards? How many suits are there? 4. Okay, what are they? What are the red suits? Select any one. What's the other one? Okay, now you know where I'm going, okay? Okay, let's take diamonds. Numbers 1 to 8. And what is that? 9 to King Jack. Choose any one set. I've told you 7 of dice, so you know where I'm going. I wanted to play it this way, but if you don't know, at the end of it, you may find that I want to play 7 of dice, he will say that. Okay, so this is the game you can play with, because you know what you want him to say. The question that you're asking, if he says something which is, if he says hearts, I will say, what did he not say? If he says diamond, I'm fine, I continue. Wherever he's going away, you bring him back. Finally, he has to say, I wish I had a chemical, I wish I had a twin, I wish I had a software or a drone, pickup service. What's your product? Predictive analysis. Okay. So things like, you can make him say that. So that is what this means. Once he has explicitly stated it, so I've just given some examples, but I mean, you can always, we've gone beyond this. So this may not happen in one meeting. Don't assume you'll go there, 20 minutes, you want to close the deal and come. It will not happen. Okay. So you need to break up your sales call into multiple, there's a sales process, okay. So what may happen is time may run out. So there are 4 outcomes. One outcome is you win the order, it worked. Alternate outcome is failure. He's not a customer, he's not interested. You tried, you have to know when to drop a customer and walk away. So this is straightforward, okay. This is a simple sale. Complex sale, all of us, let's say, is complex. The win is a commitment to buy. You say, fine, very good. I have decided to go ahead with your thing. That's ultimate you want to hear. That's the end. Otherwise, there may be an advance. Now, advance may be, there's a process. You want to meet the CEO. You want to meet the user. You want to convene a meeting among the purchasing committee. You want to schedule some trial. This is not a sale, but these are all advances. And in a particular meeting, you can only go that far. You must decide. Okay? That is a win. You come back. Okay, at least I've achieved a meeting. I want to fix a meeting with the CEO. I got it done. That's a buying signal. Okay? So you will have to do step by step, advances, agree on action that moves the sales forward. It can be a continuation. You'll say, okay, right now we are busy. We have a budget meeting. Next month, year ending. Okay? But no, when should I call you next? I'll let you know. Can happen. You don't know whether he's going to buy or not buy. It's a stalemate. But it will happen. So you come out. No action. Finally, here also it may happen that, sorry, I'm not interested. It may also happen that you had a very nice guy talking to, he got transferred. That also can. A new person will come and say, I don't know anything. He may be a completely different person altogether. So all these things will have, not putting all that. But end of the day, the process point of view, there are four steps, 4 outcomes here, 2 and 2. So based on this, we talked about implications. Have you heard of this poem? I don't know whether you can read it. Today nobody fights on a horseback. They're all shooting missiles and drones, okay? This was the time of the First World War when people are fighting. So horses had horseshoes. Horseshoes were nailed to the horse. One of the horse, the nail was missing. Nail fell off, okay? So for want of a nail, the shoe was lost. The shoe fell off. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. Because the shoe fell off, the horse started limping. It could not continue fighting. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. So along with the horse, the rider also could not fight. Okay? For want of that rider, the battle was lost. For want of the battle, the kingdom was lost. Okay? But all for the want of a horseshoe nail. So the point is that you may think it's a small problem, but it may actually be for the customer a big thing. So if you want to sell horseshoe nails to this company which is fighting, you can probably charge anything you want because of their experience of saying horseshoe nails are so important in a war. But if you say cost plus pricing, imagine what will happen. Okay, so that's what implication is. For that, you need to do ramifications, what will happen. If he says, you understand where I'm going with this, okay? Get the prospect crying for a solution. Now when he cries, this is what you're going to do. Keep on asking, you know what the cost of a solution is. Somewhere in your mind you have to say, have I tilted the balance enough? So that my cost, you're not even talked about your cost, you're not talked about your product. You may still start talking about the product a little bit, but you're not mentioned the price until you come to a point where he's ready to buy, okay? So need payoff. Why is it called need payoff? Is make it spin, that's all, okay? So when you're presenting a solution, this is the time to present. When the need payoff is, what is the need payoff? Customer is saying, I want a digital twin. Customer is saying, I want then you say, here it is. That's where the magic, you take it out and say, here's the 7 of diamonds, right? That time you pull out your solution and say, he's already stated it. If you say it before he stated it, there's a good chance that he will say, I don't want. Because you preempted him. Give him a chance to say, this is what I want. So it is his idea now. I want a digital twin. You can call you can say I have a solution which is like a digital twin. So you understand so this way you'll never go wrong. But it takes time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of patience. But this is the only way you'll get your price. The highest price that you want. Anything else you do prematurely, you had it. And I'll tell you why. There are three things. One is called a feature, one is called an advantage, and one is called a benefit. Okay? What is a feature? If you take that water bottle, there's a water bottle, right? It has a feature. What is that feature? It maintains the temperature. Okay. What else?
It has got ribs for grip. It has got ribs on the side for grip.
Okay, it has a rib. Okay. Okay, that's a different water bottle. This is a different water bottle. Okay. Anyway, we can look at, so there are, you know what features mean, okay? What is the benefit? Not so easy to, so advantage and benefit, let me put it this way. We say the customer must explicitly state something. I want to drink hot tea. Here is a flask which will maintain your temperature. Okay? Customer says, I want to drink tea. You give that flask and say it maintains temperature. That's not a benefit. You're just saying it's an advantage. You're assuming he wants to drink hot tea. He may say, I don't like hot tea. I like it to cool. If you put it in the flask, it will take longer to cool. Why should I buy that? You understand? So, advantage is something that a customer has not asked for. I'm saying this watch, you drop it from the 10th story of a building, it will not break. Suppose you come and sell this watch to me and say, it's a great watch, you hit it with a hammer, it won't break. What is my initial reaction? One is I don't want, what else?
Why will I throw it?
All that fine, what else? I'll say remove that feature and give it to me cheaper. What I don't want, why will I pay? That's why objections. Moment you say something which I don't want, I will say this guy is trying to increase the price because you're not quoted the price yet. Why is he saying all this? I never said I want it. I never said I want it, but he is going on saying something which I don't want. I'll object. And I will certainly say I won't buy this product. With these features, I don't want it. Because I never asked. Why are you giving it to me? You get the picture. So don't talk about, features mean nothing anyway. Features mean nothing. It's a product related, nothing to do with benefit. But benefit, there are two types. Where is a stated explicit need, it's a benefit. Which is not stated, it's not a benefit. Don't go and offer it. Better not to talk about it. Okay? Unless you are sure if it goes home. Okay, right? So if it's a benefit, this is just what I need. That is what. So that is where the fit is coming in. Okay? That is where the fit is coming in. Otherwise it won't fit the jigsaw. Okay? I hope it is clear now. Okay. So customer perception of value, you've seen this slide before, right? You want to explain what it is? You don't remember? Okay. Third time I think even Ramya knows it by heart by now. Okay. But what is wing to wing? In terms of an aircraft maintenance time, what is door to door and wing to wing? Okay. So I have to do a better job of explaining it. So where does the aircraft engine sit?
In the wings.
It's in the wing. Okay. Where does it fail? Where does it fail? When it fails, when the aircraft engine fails, where is it located?
Wings.
It's in the wing. Is there any doubt? So where it should then be repaired and made to work again. So that is wing to wing. What is door to door?
Inside the cabin.
No, this is not aircraft door, so that may be the confusion. This is the workshop door. So a company which repairs aircraft engines, GE, General Electric for example, repairs aircraft engines, they measure their turnaround time. How fast they repair the engine. I told you before that The aircraft flies only, it makes money. The engine is down, it's not going to fly, it's a loss. So how fast you turn around and make it fly is what the company is looking for. Airbus or whatever company, let's say Indigo for example, okay. So General Electric is saying, you come and give it to my door, factory door. I will repair it within a few days and keep it at my factory door. You take it and fix it, okay. So the logistics from the wing to the door and the door to the wing was not in the concern of GE. Understand? That is what door to door means. Which is more valuable? If GE says, where it has failed, you tell me, I'll come pick it up from there. Within 24 hours, I will fix it there on the wing. You fly. Which is better? Okay, and where will the customer pay more? Wing to wing, he will pay. How much more, we don't know. It depends on his cost, his time. It's not the cost of transportation. It is the time the aircraft is down. And there may be a lot of hassles in taking it from the door to the wing. GE is saying, all those hassles are mine. You pay me. Then the aircraft, the airline will only look at how much revenue I'm losing, and from that they will say, okay, I would have lost so many $1 million, I'll pay $500,000, you give it wing to wing. No problem, win-win situation. Okay? Electrical cables, you remember? Don't remember, okay. It's such a simple thing. Electrical cables are used in every project. Any project management, building, construction, cables are there, right? Everywhere. You have to lay those cables and then you have to do the walls, the concealed wiring, blah, blah, everything, right? It's one of the cheapest items in a project. Maybe not even worth talking about, okay? But for a cable company, it's the only thing they make. And they have been trying very hard to increase their price. And nobody, no project manager, no project company was willing to give them a price increase because they said, sorry, we don't have the time, okay? Nobody even wants to discuss. So it's difficult. Even if you get a price increase, how much you can get on a cable? Can you get 20% more, 30% more? Will anybody pay 30% more for a cable just like that? 50% more? Suppose a cable company wants to increase the price by 50%. What should it do? Can it do first of all? Suppose I give you a problem. You are a cable company. Okay? Price has been fixed for several decades or years. I give you a target and say, if you don't increase by 50%, sorry, no job. Can you do it? I'll tell you how it can be done. Project funding, most of the projects get delayed. For various reasons they get delayed. You see metro project, every project gets delayed. And every delay means thousands of crores loss. Impact is even more for the customer who is waiting for the project to get completed. The project person running the project, obviously he is also incurring an escalation of cost. Many related aspects are there, okay? And one of the main reasons projects get delayed is because of the cable not connecting on time. Okay? Because planning goes haywire, they will place the orders late, maybe the customer is also at fault, cable company is not able to respond, so they will give their own reasons. Finally, project get delayed, okay? And huge amount of money is sitting there, and this cable company guy says, look, I will give you my cables to you on the day you want it. An order, you tell me once in advance, I will take all the information. I will see that your project is not delayed even by 1 day because of my cables. Okay? If the project manager were to work it, you pay me double. And suppose the project manager says, okay, I'm saving hundreds of crores, I will pay double to you. Do you think the sale will get closed? Will you? Because it goes to the purchase manager now. The purchase guy is somebody else who has to approve the final price, right? Project manager is saying, I am okay, but you come through my purchase because there is a purchase procedure, there is a tendering, there is various other constraints for because people make money like this, no? You'll think I'll get suspected, I'm charging you double. Some spiel you've given me about I'll never, make your project go delay. Tomorrow you may delay it also. Then I look like a fool. I've given you double. People will think there's a kickback in what is happening. I don't want to take such chances. You come through the channel. But I'm okay. Then the next step is what? Convincing the purchase guy. So his needs, we told you that there are buying centers yesterday, today also we said different people have different needs, emotional, this, that. Purchase guy is a different, he's not bothered about delays. His job is to say, I have got the best deal for my company. Delay and all, you ask the project manager, I'm not responsible. That's how they are, right? So what is his need? He wants to show he's got the best deal. How do you make him feel that he's got the best deal? The proposition is what is written at the bottom, it's called a mafia offer. That means give him an offer that he can't refuse. Mafia means you can't refuse, almost like a gun pointed at you. There are several mafia, you can also discover your own mafia offers, but your organization must be capable of delivering this mafia offer, and competition will not touch it. That offer should be such that no competitor will go anywhere near it, but the customer will love it. Okay? So what they said, you give me double, but if there's 1 day delay, 1 day, I'll give you money back for that particular order. Okay? So is that a good deal? So getting double is not a big deal. Okay, but what you have to do, see, it may happen that you may, in the process of execution, there may be some failures. You may lose something. But overall, since you're making double, you have that ability to absorb those shocks. And you will go to your organization and say, I've committed something. Obviously, the organization must be behind you. And they will all work towards making this a success because you're getting double the money for the same product. And no competitor will come anywhere near, no competitor. If I was a salesman of a competition company and said, boss, let us go and do this, I will probably lose my job and say, what is this? You want me to give free cables? Do you think our company is capable of delivering on the dot every time or 99% of the time? So this is just an example. That's why the cable thing is very powerful. The infrastructure project, if you know where the customer's pain points are and how much money is sitting there, if you are able to put an offer right there and say, I will take care of that pain and I am sticking my neck out. The only way you can show you're sticking your neck out is by saying refund. That means you're genuine, right? Then you can charge whatever you want to charge. It's nothing because that's a guarantee. Okay. So like that, there are many hidden costs every customer has. Asset maintenance. Suppose you're saying my whatever lubricant that I use is increasing the life of your equipment. You can charge. But you should know that there is a problem, opportunity there. Inventory is a big thing in organization. They don't have space. Inventory means that they are obsolescence or damages, handling losses. Most of the time wrong. What you want is not there. What you don't want will be there. And inventory is the biggest pain in any organization. And we also saw in the first chart, more inventory, more money is getting blocked. So if you can help your customer and say, I will take care of inventory, you can charge anything. Okay. So I'm saying many other things. So this is what I wanted to end with. We already 1:15, I'm sorry. So I'll just take a little time on, this is the last slide actually. When now you're coming to price negotiations. Okay. You come to a point where customer likes you, he stated what you have, all that. Now you have to fix the price. Still there is a process because if you go to a shop and you ask, suppose you want to buy a shirt, okay? You saw the price was some $500. You ask that guy, okay, I won't pay 500, I want it at 300. He said, acha, le lo. Do you feel good? You feel good? Huh? You would have said, shit, I could have asked him 250. 200 also you would have given. Yes or no? You may hesitate to ask for 200. You might have said 350, acha, 400, 350, you hesitate. He said, acha, le lo. You will not feel good about that purchase. So therefore, there is a strategy to do in terms of negotiation. What you have to do is you make your offer with components. Put lot of components in the offer, credit period, free samples, solutions, something else, packaging, bulk discount. Depending on the nature of your business and you can add as many, they are called components over and above your product. Okay. Make a laundry list of them. Put a price tag on each of them. You don't know for what is important for which customer. I said earlier, there are some companies which are cash rich. Okay, so for them, discount means a lot. Upfront discount, cash. Somebody else is not cash. They will say, okay, I will pay you interest. I want credit period. Okay, so something is highly valuable to customers and something is not valuable. Okay, so you put that and then you start dropping things that are of low value to you, high cost to you, and there's a sequence you can do. So literally, the point is, when you're negotiating, don't go zigzag. You leave your customer confused as to what is the price. He's also trying to gauge. If you go like this, that means make concessions smaller and progressively smaller. If you drop by 10%, then go by 8%, then go by 5%, then 2%. What is the signal you're giving? There is a limit and I'm trying to get there. Okay, this limit you decide. This curve you decide. And you can't generally say I'm dropping it. That when you feel cheated that this guy is pricing high and simply drop. So take off something. Okay, I will give you, my lead time is 2 weeks. If you want me to drop prices, maybe 4 weeks. Is that okay? So you're testing what is important to it. Or something, or give me 50% advance, or I won't take advance, take something else. So you're doing something you're doing to drop. And so this is obviously it requires a full session to do this as a role play. But I just wanted to leave you with the thought that, it's not easy to simply drop the price. Make him earn it. Make him fight for it. Let the success be sweet. Even though he's paying a high price, he should say, I got, which means the entire session, if you look at something and you're there and you're giving it with a smiling face, but at the end of the day, he should feel he has won the battle and not you. That's important, no? Customers should feel that he has won. Okay? I think, I'm sorry, I've left. If you have a couple of minutes, there's some interesting things I wanted to show. Okay, I won't go into this. You see this one. I don't know if it's visible from there. This is a 1.75 liter liquor bottle, $47. This is 3 liter, that's double that, $127. Okay, does it make sense? Here it is, single unit is $29, 10 units is $99, 5 units is $95, if it's not legible, $95 and $99. That means from 5 to 10 it is $1 each, but single unit is $29. This is one pricing strategy. This strategy is 47 for a half bottle, 127, which is almost 3 times for a full bottle. These prices survive. You know how they survive? Markets are different. Somebody wants to gift. He will not give 2 small bottles. He'll rather give a big gift bottle. So you price it higher because the person who's gifting wants to show he's giving a high price, not cheap, You understand? There's a psychology of this. Likewise, person, if he wants to buy 1, he will come up to 5, but 5 to 10 is nothing. Nobody buys this. People will buy this and go. Okay, there is another very famous, okay, I won't go into this. This strategy, have you seen and heard? Tell me what it is.
Yeah, they have 2 versions of it. One is priced lower and one is priced a bit higher, and they induce the customers.
Yeah, that is missing here. If you keep this, which one will sell more?
Decoy. I think decoy.
Huh?
The smaller one is
Smaller one or big one, depending on, both may go. Okay. But if you do this is what he said is a decoy. Suppose this guy were to introduce this in between. Now what happens? Well, nothing has changed. Okay? That's why this is called a decoy. So many times people do this. You may also want to do this. in your pricing, because what you're doing is these are all your own offerings. You can say, I give a bulk pack, small pack, big pack, whatever it is. Or if it's you're making them feel that it's a good deal, okay? That's all I wanted to say. There's another one, I think we discussed this. Do you know this model? Gillette. Gillette sells what? Their pricing is you buy, the stick is virtually free. All the money comes in the blade. So this company said, I'm selling you cheap. So there are ways by which Xerox at one time did what?
Copies. They charge for the copies.
They charge for the copy. The hardware is free. So you may also want to do that. You may say if it's a complementary product, if you buy something and you force them to use something, like you buy a razor, you have to only use that stick or that blade. Okay, I just wanted to leave you with some of these. There are much more, but I don't want to take your time. Thanks.